I think it's safe to say that change is on my agenda. Change for good. And I embrace that and I enjoy that change. I don't fear it. That's the bit that excites me, is the idea of being able to bring some change. Not overly radical change, but changes that I think.
William found Camilla wearing Diana's private jewelry, and no one expected what followed. Because the moment Prince William's eyes landed on that piece, a necklace he had seen clasped around his mother's neck in photographs, at state dinners, in memories, something shifted inside the future King of England. What happened next didn't make the front pages immediately, but when the full story emerged, it revealed a royal wound that has never fully healed. The jewelry that started everything, Diana's collection and what she left behind. To understand why this moment affected William so deeply, it's essential to grasp the significance of Princess Diana's jewelry, not just in monetary terms, but also emotionally, symbolically, and dynastically. Princess Diana bequeathed her extensive jewelry collection to her sons, expressing in a formal letter of wishes that she wanted all her jewelry to be held by them so that their wives could, in due course, have access to it. This was more than just a legal directive. It was a mother's final act of love, a thoughtful choice to ensure that even in death, she would remain present during weddings, galas, and royal christenings to come. After Diana's passing, Prince William and Prince Harry were permitted to select pieces from her personal collection as heirlooms, but they did not inherit the entire collection. This distinction is crucial and lies at the heart of the story. Many of the pieces Diana wore were actually part of the royal collection, a vast treasury passed down through generations of the royal family, now in the custody of King Charles and his wife, Queen Camilla. Legally and institutionally, the crown owns a significant portion of Diana's wardrobe. Thus, when Diana died, those crown pieces reverted not to her sons or her family, but back to the vault. What William did inherit were personal and cherished items. Following Diana's tragic death in 1997, Prince Harry received the sapphire engagement ring, which he later offered to his older brother, Prince William, before William proposed to Kate Middleton in 2010. Diana's butler, Paul Burrell, recounted Harry's sentiment to William, saying, "Wouldn't it be fitting if she had Mummy's ring? Then one day that ring will be sat on the throne of England." William also inherited a pair of Diana's pearl earrings. At the same time, Prince Harry received a gold Cartier watch, which Meghan Markle has since worn, along with an aquamarine cocktail ring that Meghan famously wore during their wedding reception. These were the pieces that belonged to the family and that the brothers selected. However, in the background were many more items worn by Diana, gifts received during her marriage, and pieces closely associated with her that remain locked away in the royal collection vaults. These items were accessible to whoever held authority within the House of Windsor, ultimately leading to future tensions. Camilla and the necklace, what she wore, when she wore it, and why it caused an uproar. Queen Camilla has refashioned a cherished necklace that once belonged to Princess Diana, transforming it into a brooch valued at $137,000. The necklace's origins trace back to 1863, when Queen Alexandra first owned it. One iconic piece of Princess Diana's jewelry was this necklace, set with 4-carat diamonds and green emeralds, featuring 3 ostrich feathers, which are part of the Prince of Wales's heraldic badge. Diana received it on her wedding day from the Queen Mother. Although it was a gift to her, the necklace became part of the royal collection after her death, giving Camilla access to it years later. Around 2012, Camilla quietly had the necklace altered into a brooch. She was photographed wearing it in public on multiple occasions, including at Trooping the Color. The refashioned brooch was also worn by Kate Middleton in 2022 at the Horse Guards Parade. When news of this alteration became widely known, the public's response was intense. Royal fans criticized Queen Camilla, accusing her of disrespecting the late princess by modifying the treasured heirloom. Many took to social media to voice their concerns. One royal watcher commented, "I thought Diana's jewelry was off limits to Camilla, not to mention Queen Elizabeth's jewelry as well." Another asked, "Why is this mistress even allowed to touch Diana's things?" A fan expressed their outrage, asking, "Does she have no shame?" Camilla's connection to the necklace wasn't new. She had been spotted wearing it publicly as early as the Cheltenham races in 2006. At that time, Buckingham Palace issued a statement explaining, "The Duchess of Cornwall wore it to Cheltenham as she was presenting the Queen Mother Cup for one of the races. Since it once belonged to the Queen Mother, she felt it was appropriate to wear." This statement framed the situation for the public, not as Diana's jewelry, but as a piece that had passed through her hands from the Queen Mother. While this may have been legally defensible, it was emotionally devastating for many who had loved Diana. Opinions among royal fans were sharply divided. Some described Camilla's jewelry choices as plain tacky and absolutely appalling, arguing that the pieces should have been passed down to Diana's sons instead. Others defended Camilla, asserting that the necklace was part of the crown estate and the royal collection, not Diana's personal possession, and that the current queen had every right to wear it. However, for Prince William, this debate was not just an academic discussion. It was deeply personal. William's long history of pain, the wound that never closed. To understand why William would react emotionally upon seeing Camilla wearing Diana's jewelry, it is important to recognize the deep wound that Camilla's existence had represented to him since childhood. William was only 13 years old when his mother gave her infamous tell-all interview to the BBC's Panorama in 1995, in which she revealed details of her long-term affair with Camilla, the then wife of King Charles III. According to royal biographer Robert Lacey in his 2020 book, Battle of Brothers, William watched the interview from his housemaster's office at Eton College. Following the airing, he was reportedly found slumped on the sofa, with his eyes red with tears. However, his feelings extended beyond sadness. He was also filled with rage. William was absolutely livid, said Simone Simmons, a close friend of the late princess, in an interview with Vanity Fair. People at school were calling her all sorts of names. The weekend after it aired, they had a big argument at Kensington Palace. William was furious, and Diana was distraught. I was there the day after she spoke to him, and Diana was in a terrible state. This was a teenage boy attending one of England's most elite schools who was witnessing his mother's personal struggles play out on national television. He faced mockery from his classmates and was grappling with the revelation that the woman his father truly loved was not his mother. The psychological impact of that moment reverberated through the years. Over the years, insiders have noted that Princes Harry and William never really warmed to Camilla. The primary reason cited repeatedly is her history with Diana, a wound that may never fully heal. Even as an adult, and as William matured into a measured and diplomatic future king, that wound persisted. He became adept at managing his public persona, accepting Camilla as his father's wife, and maintaining appearances. However, sources have indicated that certain feelings could still disrupt his carefully curated composure. Seeing someone he associated with the breakdown of his parents' marriage wearing jewelry that he connected to his mother was one of those moments. The rules of the firm, why Camilla had the right and why it didn't matter. The situation becomes genuinely complex when we consider the legal, institutional, and historical perspectives. Queen Camilla was not doing anything wrong. Over the years, she and other members of the royal family have worn jewelry that once belonged to Princess Diana. While some upset fans claim that Camilla stole these pieces, the royal family's regulations tell a different story. The royal collection is not the private property of any single royal family member. Instead, it is held in trust by the monarch for the nation and for future generations. Queen Camilla has worn items previously owned by the late Queen Elizabeth II and pieces associated with Princess Diana. Although wearing your husband's ex-wife's jewelry may seem awkward to outsiders, the reality is that many of these jewels belong to the monarchy as a whole, rather than to individual members. Royal expert Maxwell Stone told The Express that Camilla has worn and redesigned several pieces over the years that were once loved by Princess Diana, a move that has caused quite a bit of controversy. However, the legal framework of the royal collection allows her to do so. What makes this situation emotionally charged is the conflict between two different perspectives on these objects. For the institution of the monarchy and its lawyers, an emerald necklace gifted to Diana by the Queen Mother, which was returned to the royal collection upon Diana's death, is merely an asset, a historical artifact managed like any other piece of crown property. The monarchy has the authority to wear, alter, loan, or display it as they see fit. In contrast, for Prince William and the millions of people around the world who watched Diana wear that necklace at state dinners and royal events, it symbolized his mother. It was a part of her. Seeing Camilla wear it was not a legal violation, but rather something much harder to articulate and forgive. Jewelry experts have noted that transforming the necklace into a brooch likely had minimal impact on its monetary value, especially if the redesign was done expertly. However, they acknowledged it might have been valued even more had it remained in its original necklace form. Yet the monetary debate completely misses the point for those who mourn Diana. You cannot put a price on memory. The confrontation that defined a generation. Diana's own words about Camilla. The jewelry incident was not an isolated event. It was part of a long story that began decades ago with a dramatic confrontation that shocked everyone present. In the late 1980s, after rumors of an affair between Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles, Princess Diana confronted Camilla at a birthday party. According to royal author Tom Bower, Diana asked Camilla to leave Charles alone while everyone in the room fell silent. At that time, Camilla was still married to Andrew Parker Bowles. Camilla controlled her anger and told Diana that her behavior was unacceptable in a private house. Diana's former bodyguard, Ken Worf, shared that he and Diana found Charles and Camilla sitting together on a sofa in the basement. Instead of backing down, Diana confronted Camilla, and Worf described this as a turning point for Diana. This confrontation, where Diana faced the woman she believed had taken her husband, became a symbol of the problems in her marriage. It showed both Diana's strength and her sorrow in one moment. The relationship between Camilla and Princess Diana is one of the most examined and emotional stories in royal history. It goes beyond a simple love triangle. This situation influenced how the public viewed the monarchy, how the media covered it, and what royal duty meant. For Prince William, this was not just history. He experienced it as a child. He heard his mother cry, saw her struggle, and watched his parents' marriage fall apart on national television. Every time Camilla wears something that reminds him of his mother, those memories come rushing back. What followed? The lasting fallout, Kate's role, and the jewelry that keeps Diana alive. What happened after all the tension regarding the jewelry and past wounds? The outcome was both subtle and significant. Prince William took a personal step to honor his mother's legacy. Princess Diana left her personal jewelry to her sons, William and Harry, so that they could pass it on to their wives someday. William chose to give Kate Middleton Diana's famous 12-carat sapphire engagement ring. After the engagement announcement in 2010, he explained, "It was my way of making sure Mother didn't miss out." This statement reveals everything. William understood that Diana would never be there for his wedding, would never meet his children, and would never share in his joy. By giving Kate the ring, he made sure she was still part of the moment, visible in the photographs, remembered in history, and in the hearts of all who watched. Jewelry expert Maxwell Stone noted, "Princess Diana's jewelry holds great sentimental value. By giving their late mothers pieces to their wives, William and Harry keep her memory alive." Kate has worn various items once cherished by Diana, each appearance serving as a powerful reminder that Diana lives on, not in the jewelry returned to the royal collection, but in the hands of the woman William chose to marry. Diana's engagement ring originally went to Harry after her death, but William later wanted it for Kate, so Harry traded it for Diana's Cartier watch. This exchange was a private decision by the brothers to honor their mother's wishes, without any public announcement. Camilla altered one piece of Diana's jewelry, but Kate has worn it as well, for example, at the 2022 Horse Guards Parade. Whether intentional or not, it symbolizes how pieces belonging to Diana have eventually found their way to the woman William loves. People expected a conflict after William discovered Camilla wearing Diana's jewelry, but the outcome was more meaningful. William turned his grief into a loving act by placing his mother's ring on Kate's finger and saying to the world, "She's still here." Diana's jewelry was never just jewelry. It represented memories, love, and legacy passed from a mother to her sons. They carried these pieces forward through the women they chose. If this story touched you, consider sharing it. And if you believe Diana's memory should continue, subscribe for more of this story.